There are days when you wake up and feel nothing. The sun rises, but it doesn't reach you. The world moves on, but you stand still, heavy, hollow, and tired of pretending you're fine. Depression isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, like a fog that covers everything you once cared about. It steals your motivation, your joy, even your sense of self. And in that silence, one question echoes: will I ever feel normal again? The Stoics knew this darkness, though they didn't call it depression. Marcus Aurelius fought through exhaustion, grief, and endless pressure as emperor of Rome. Epictetus lived as a slave, beaten and humiliated, yet he found freedom within his mind. Seneca faced exile, betrayal, and loss, and still wrote about peace, clarity, and courage. They didn't escape their pain, they studied it. They believed that what we suffer can become our greatest teacher if we learn to face it with wisdom. Depression tells you that you're powerless. Stoicism whispers back, you are not. Because no matter how deep the darkness feels, one truth remains: you still have control over your thoughts, your actions, your choices. This isn't about pretending everything is okay. It's about learning how to endure, how to see clearly, and how to take back your mind when everything feels lost. These are 9 Stoic ways to overcome depression, not through denial, but through discipline. Not through escape, but through understanding. Because the Stoics believed, the obstacle is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your strength. The Stoics never promised happiness. They promised resilience. Because they knew life isn't gentle, it tests us again and again. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, when you arise in the morning, tell yourself, today I will meet interference, ingratitude, arrogance, disloyalty, selfishness. He wasn't being negative. He was preparing his mind, reminding himself that peace doesn't come from avoiding difficulty, but from facing it with clarity. To the Stoics, depression would not have been seen as weakness. It would have been seen as disconnection, a mind at war with itself, a soul forgetting its inner strength. Their remedy wasn't external, not fame, not wealth, not escape, but an inner transformation. They taught that peace begins when we stop fighting what we cannot control and start governing what we can. Our thoughts, our actions, our interpretations. Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. That's what depression often is, a mind replaying pain, looping through self-judgment, building walls where doors could exist. Stoicism doesn't deny those emotions. It simply teaches us to see them clearly, without becoming their prisoner. To let sadness visit, but not let it take root. To feel pain, but not lose our power to choose how we respond. This is where healing begins, not in denying the storm, but learning to navigate through it. The Stoics believed that even in our darkest moments, we can cultivate stillness, courage, and meaning. So let's begin. 9 timeless Stoic ways to overcome depression, to quiet the noise within, and to find again that quiet strength that has always been yours. Stoic law number 1, the law of inner dominion. There's a kingdom inside you, a vast, unseen empire ruled not by circumstance, but by attention. It's the only territory you truly own, your thoughts, your interpretations, your choices. The Stoics called this inner realm your hegemonikon, the ruling faculty, the seat of your reason and will. When depression strikes, it feels as if that kingdom has fallen. Your mind becomes enemy territory, invaded by dark thoughts, hopelessness, fatigue. But the truth the Stoics whispered across time is this: you are still sovereign within your own mind. Epictetus said, you may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus himself can overpower my will. That is the law of inner dominion. It means, though the world may tremble around you, your power remains untouched within. Depression tries to convince you that you've lost control. But control never lived in the things outside you. Not in moods, not in outcomes, not in what others say or do. Control has always been an inner practice, not an outer possession. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal during Rome's darkest years, the mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. Even pain can be repurposed, even despair can become strength. You cannot choose every thought that arises, but you can choose whether to bow to it. You cannot stop the storm, but you can rule your posture within it. The law of inner dominion asks you to return, again and again, to what is truly yours. When your mind says, I am broken, pause. asked, "Who is speaking, me or my thought?" The Stoics practiced separating themselves from their impressions, not to suppress emotion, but to see clearly. This distance creates power. When you step back from the whirlwind of thought, you remember, I am the observer, not the storm. Try this. When the weight of the day feels unbearable, whisper to yourself, "This feeling is not me. It is visiting me. Let it come. Let it pass. But do not hand it your crown." Because depression only wins when it convinces you that you no longer have a choice. And Stoicism exists to remind you, you always do. Rule yourself, and the world loses its power to rule you. Master your perception, and no darkness can command your spirit. This is the beginning of recovery, the return to sovereignty. To reclaim the smallest piece of yourself that says, I still decide. The law of inner dominion isn't a promise that life will be easy. It's a reminder that even in your lowest hour, you remain the ruler of your inner world. And from that throne, every act of healing begins. Stoic law number 2, the law of voluntary hardship. There's a quiet kind of courage, not the one that shouts, but the one that chooses to suffer on purpose. Seneca called it voluntary discomfort. He would sleep on the ground, eat coarse food, and wear rough clothes, not because he needed to, but because he wanted to remember what could never be taken from him. He asked himself, is this what I feared? In that question lies the law of voluntary hardship. It means, what you choose to endure willingly can no longer enslave you unwillingly. Depression feeds on helplessness. It tells you that you have no control, that the smallest act is meaningless, that everything hurts too much to try. But the Stoics would tell you, the only way to defeat helplessness is to act, even in pain, especially in pain. They believed the mind grows strong the same way the body does, through resistance. You cannot think your way out of darkness. You train your way out, moment by moment. That's why Stoics practiced hardship, not to suffer, but to sharpen the soul. Every voluntary challenge was a rehearsal for life's involuntary ones. Every moment of chosen discomfort was proof that the mind could lead when the body wanted to quit. So when depression says, you can't do this, respond with a small act of defiance. Take a cold shower. Go for a short walk. Clean one corner of your room. Not because it will fix everything, but because it's an act of rebellion against despair. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The Stoics saw obstacles not as punishments, but as invitations. Invitations to rise above instinct, to act with virtue even when feeling is gone. And isn't that what depression robs us of most? Feeling. The will to act. The sense that action matters. But Stoicism says, action is the medicine. You don't wait for motivation. You move, and motivation follows. You don't wait to feel brave. You act bravely, and courage appears. Each act of voluntary hardship, whether it's discipline, endurance, or simply facing the day, becomes a reminder. I am stronger than this voice in my head. Because what you choose to face willingly no longer frightens you. When you walk into the storm by choice, the storm loses its power. So practice hardship, not grand gestures, but small ones. Train your spirit like a warrior trains the body. Discomfort becomes a teacher, not a tormentor. And in its lessons, you rediscover something depression can't erase. Your will, your agency, your quiet, stubborn strength. This is the essence of the law of voluntary hardship. To meet pain on your own terms. To transform it from something that happens to you into something that happens for you. Stoic law number 3, the law of perspective alchemy. There's an ancient kind of magic the Stoics practiced. Not the kind that changes the world, but the kind that changes how we see it. They called it philosophy. We might call it perspective alchemy. Because pain, no matter how deep, can be transformed, not by erasing it, but by changing the meaning it holds. Epictetus said, "Men are not disturbed by things, but by the views which they take of things." It's not what happens to us that destroys us. It's the story we attach to it, the lens we choose to look through. Depression narrows that lens. It paints everything in shades of gray. It tells you the future will look like today forever. It whispers that your worth is tied to your feelings, that because you feel broken, you are broken. But perspective alchemy invites you to ask, is that true? Or is that just a story my mind is telling? Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. When betrayed, he saw it as a test of patience. When sick, as a lesson in endurance. When overwhelmed, as a reminder of humility. He reframed every obstacle into opportunity, not because it made the pain vanish, but because it restored his power to choose meaning. You can do the same. When your mind says, "This is the end," whisper back, "No, this is the lesson." When it says, "I can't handle this," answer, "Then this is how I learn to handle it." This is how pain becomes wisdom. This is how suffering transforms into strength. Perspective alchemy is not denial. It's not pretending everything is fine. It's learning to look at reality with the eyes of a philosopher, calm, curious, and unwilling to be fooled by fear. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." When you're in the middle of depression, that friction feels unbearable. But what if it's polishing you? What if this darkness is not punishment, but preparation, shaping you into something clearer, steadier, more compassionate than before? That's the alchemy of perspective, turning pain into purpose, wounds into wisdom, loss into light. Each time you choose a different story, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. You stop being the victim of your thoughts and start becoming their author. The Stoics didn't escape suffering. They learned to reinterpret it. They found beauty in endurance, dignity in loss, peace in impermanence. So when the darkness whispers, "This is meaningless," answer softly, "No, this is my training." Because once you change the way you see your pain no longer sees you as its prisoner. That is the law of perspective alchemy, the transformation of the unbearable into the useful, the tragic into the teachable, and the heavy into the holy. Stoic law number 4, the law of rational compassion. The Stoics are often misunderstood. People imagine them as cold, emotionless, detached philosophers. But true Stoicism is not the absence of feeling, it's the mastery of it. It's not hard-heartedness. It's clarity wrapped in compassion. The Stoics believed in reason, yes. But reason, to them, was not a sword to wound yourself with. It was a light to see yourself clearly. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Yet Seneca also wrote hundreds of letters comforting his friends through loss, grief, and despair. He understood that rationality without kindness becomes cruelty, and kindness without reason becomes indulgence. The balance between the two is what we call rational compassion. Depression distorts both. It makes you too harsh with yourself, punishing your sadness as if it's a failure. Or it makes you too indulgent, surrendering to hopelessness as if it's destiny. Stoicism offers a third path. Rational compassion means speaking to yourself as a wise friend would. It means saying, "Yes, I'm in pain, but this pain is not my identity." It means acknowledging the struggle without dramatizing it, observing your thoughts without drowning in them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." But he didn't mean cruelly strict. He meant accountable. To be a guardian of your own soul, not its tyrant. When you're depressed, the instinct is to fight yourself, to see your exhaustion as laziness, your sadness as weakness. But self-hatred never healed a human being. You cannot punish yourself into peace. The Stoics knew that healing requires both firmness and tenderness, to discipline your mind while forgiving your humanity. Here's how you practice it. When your thoughts turn against you, step back and speak to yourself as if you were someone you love. If a friend came to you and said, "I feel worthless," you wouldn't agree. You'd remind them gently of their strength. Do the same for yourself. Stoicism teaches that emotion is not an enemy, it's information. You don't silence it, you study it. Ask, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Maybe it's asking for rest. Maybe it's reminding you of what matters. Maybe it's showing you where you're out of balance. Rational compassion means listening without judgment, then responding with wisdom. It's being kind to yourself, not out of pity, but out of respect for your own humanity. Seneca once said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." He meant that to include yourself. So be gentle, but also be steady. Cry if you must, then breathe, and return to the present. Because compassion without reason keeps you stuck, and reason without compassion leaves you empty. But when both walk together, you find peace. That's the law of rational compassion. To lead yourself not with cruelty, but with calm authority. To hold your pain with understanding, and your power with grace. Stoic law number 5, the law of present sufficiency. The Stoics believed that everything essential for peace already exists, right here, right now. Not in tomorrow's success. Not in someone's approval. Not in the version of you that's finally healed. But in this moment, imperfect, ordinary, and fully alive. Epictetus said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some are not." We usually hear that as an instruction to let go of what we can't control. But there's another layer to it, an invitation to see the present moment as enough. Depression convinces you that peace exists somewhere else, that you'll feel better when you get there, when things change, when you become someone new. But the Stoics saw that as an illusion. If you can't find stillness in this breath, in this heartbeat, you'll keep chasing it forever. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same reason that today arms you against the present." To him, peace wasn't a destination, it was a discipline. It was the art of returning to the moment whenever the mind wandered toward fear or regret. Because in truth, the present is never unbearable, only the stories we add to it make it so. The mind says, "This feeling will last forever," and suffering begins. But if you stay with the moment itself, the breath, the sound, the stillness, you see that it's changing even as you observe it. That's the hidden beauty of Stoic practice, the awareness that this moment is sufficient. Not perfect, not easy, but enough to begin again. Seneca said, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." Every morning, the Stoics treated the day as a small lifetime, a complete experience in itself. When you do this, depression's lie begins to fade. Because you stop measuring life by what's missing and start seeing what remains. Right now, you are breathing. You are reading. You are here, aware, conscious, alive. That's not nothing. That's everything. The law of present sufficiency asks you to stop postponing peace. To stop saying, "I'll be happy when," and start whispering, "I'm enough now." Even if your heart is heavy. Even if your mind is tired. Even if the future feels uncertain. Because in this one small, unremarkable moment, everything you need to take the next step already exists. Courage, patience, breath. And that's the Stoic secret. You don't have to fix your entire life. You just have to live this moment well. That is the law of present sufficiency. The practice of coming home to now. The art of realizing that peace is not something you find. It's something you allow. Stoic law number 6, the law of impermanent storms. There is a reason Marcus Aurelius began so many of his journal entries the same way, with the weather. He'd write about the morning light, the cold air, the sound of rain. Because to him, the weather was a mirror of the mind, changing, uncontrollable, and always moving. Depression feels endless. It tells you the storm will never end, that the sun has forgotten you. But the Stoics would remind you, no storm, not in the sky, not in the soul, lasts forever. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." The storm comes. You cannot stop it, but you can remember, it will pass. This is the law of impermanent storms. The understanding that all emotions, even despair, are visitors. They arrive. They stay a while. They leave. When you forget this, you begin to identify with the weather of your mood. You start saying, "I am the storm," instead of, "I am the sky the storm passes through." But the Stoics saw the difference. You are not your sadness. You are the awareness observing it. Seneca wrote, "There are more things likely to frighten us than to crush us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." That's what depression does. It traps you in imagined permanence. It whispers that this pain is who you are, that it will always be like this. But nothing in nature stays still. Not rivers, not seasons, not even pain. The Stoics looked to the rhythm of the universe for comfort. They saw that even the darkest night has dawn built into it. Even winter carries spring in its silence. Even the heaviest rain eventually runs out of clouds. When Marcus felt despair, he reminded himself of this cycle. The universe is change. Life is opinion. Meaning, everything is transforming, including your perspective. The storm is not punishment. It is motion. It is renewal disguised as chaos. So, when your thoughts thunder, don't resist the rain. Stand under it. Observe it. Know that it is temporary. Say to yourself, this too is nature's process. Because the Stoic doesn't wait for perfect weather, they learn to walk through all seasons with grace. When life grows dark, they don't curse the clouds, they prepare the lamp within. And one day, without effort, you look up and realize, the rain has stopped. The air feels lighter. The sun has returned, just as it always does. That is the law of impermanent storms. To trust that every feeling has a beginning, a middle, and an end. To remember that you are not the storm, but the open sky that holds it. And once you understand that, you stop fighting the rain. You stop fearing the darkness. You begin to walk calmly through it, because you know deep down that even this shall pass. Stoic law number 7, the law of purposeful adversity. The Stoics didn't fear suffering, they studied it. They believed that pain, properly understood, was the most honest instructor of all. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, faced betrayal, loss, and disease. Epictetus was born a slave, beaten so often that one leg was permanently crippled. Seneca was exiled, humiliated, and forced to take his own life by imperial order. And yet, all three spoke the same truth. Adversity is not your enemy, it's your curriculum. Marcus wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the foundation of the law of purposeful adversity. The Stoic doesn't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What is this teaching me?" Pain is part of the natural order, and within that order, nothing is wasted. Each obstacle carries a hidden instruction. Each heartbreak carves out space for understanding. Each failure strips away illusion until only truth remains. Depression tells you your suffering has no purpose, that it's just darkness. But the Stoics saw every experience as an opportunity to practice virtue. Patience, endurance, compassion, wisdom. When Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men," he wasn't glorifying pain, he was revealing its potential. Gold is purified by fire. So too, the human spirit. Pain is not pleasant, but it is clarifying. It burns away the unnecessary. It forces you to see what truly matters. When you face your suffering consciously, without resentment, you begin to transform it. The same weight that once crushed you becomes resistance that builds strength. That's why Epictetus told his students, "Difficulties show a person what they are." Because when everything is easy, your character sleeps. When life turns hard, your spirit awakens. So the Stoic doesn't seek adversity, but they do not flee from it. They walk through it with purpose, using each hardship as a forge for growth. When depression arrives, it feels meaningless. But even here, meaning can be made. Can I learn patience from this fatigue? Can I learn empathy from this loneliness? Can I learn presence from this pain? The Stoics believed that when you assign purpose to suffering, it loses its power to destroy you. Pain that is understood becomes endurance. Pain that is resisted becomes torment. So, they practiced amor fati, the love of fate. To love even the things you didn't choose, because they are part of your path. Because they are shaping you into someone capable of peace. Marcus Aurelius said, "To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength." That is the essence of this law, to turn every misfortune into fuel. To take every pain and whisper, "You will serve me." That is the law of purposeful adversity. To meet life's storms not as punishments, but as teachers. To see pain not as the end, but as the process of becoming. And to trust that the fire meant to burn you is the same fire that will refine you. Stoic law number 8, the law of the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius ruled over one of the largest empires in human history. Yet every night, he returned to his journal, writing not as an emperor, but as a man at war with his own thoughts. The wars outside his palace were easier to fight than the ones within his mind. In his meditations, he wrote, "People seek retreats for themselves, in the country, by the sea, in the mountains. But nowhere can a person find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That is the essence of the law of the inner citadel, the practice of building within yourself a fortress of peace so strong that no storm can shake it. To the Stoics, the mind was like a city. Every thought was a visitor, every emotion a traveler passing through its gates. But you are the gatekeeper. You decide who enters and who is turned away. Depression often feels like the gates have fallen, like your inner defenses have been breached. Thoughts pour in, uninvited and unchallenged. I'm not enough. Nothing will change. What's the point? The Stoic response is not to deny those thoughts, but to rebuild the walls, to restore order within. Because peace is not the absence of difficulty. It's the presence of discipline. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery does not mean control over the world. It means control over your interpretations of it. When you learn to guard your inner citadel, the outer world loses its power to disturb you. The Stoics built this citadel brick by brick, through daily reflection, journaling, meditation, and deliberate thought. They treated each moment of pain as a chance to strengthen the walls, each insult as a test of endurance, each fear as a chance to practice courage. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, plague, and loss, yet he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That sentence is the cornerstone of the inner citadel, because no matter how chaotic life becomes, there is one place that remains yours: your judgment, your response, your reason. When depression comes, it tries to convince you that you've lost everything: control, hope, stability. But if you close your eyes and return to your breath, you'll find that one thing still remains untouched: awareness. And from that awareness, you rebuild. You say to yourself, "I may not control the storm, but I control my posture in the storm. I may not silence these thoughts, but I decide which ones I believe. I may not escape this pain, but I can endure it with grace." This is how Stoics lived, like warriors of the inner world. They built their citadel not out of arrogance, but necessity. Because they knew, the world will shake you, but it cannot break you unless you abandon your post. That's the law of the inner citadel. To guard your peace as your most sacred duty. To cultivate stillness that no insult, loss, or sadness can destroy. And to remember, always, you are not the battlefield. You are the fortress. Stoic law number 9, the law of meaningful service. The Stoics taught that the surest path out of despair is to stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "How can I serve?" Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them or bear with them." When you shift your focus from self to service, pain begins to lose its grip. Because purpose is the antidote to emptiness. Helping others doesn't erase your suffering. It gives it direction. It turns isolation into connection and wounds into wisdom. Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Even in your darkest moments, you can bring light, a gentle word, a quiet act, a small gesture. The Stoics believed that meaning is not found in grand achievements, but in daily contribution. In serving others, you remember your strength. And in lifting them, you rise too. You've walked through the Stoic path, from pain to purpose, from chaos to calm. These 9 laws are not escape routes. They are invitations. To face life, not flee from it. To meet your darkness, not deny it. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up, if you will ever dig. The peace you seek isn't out there. It's been waiting inside you all along." When depression whispers that you're broken, remember, you are simply being reshaped. When life feels heavy, remember, weight builds strength. Start small. One breath, one thought, one act of kindness. That's how Stoicism works. Quietly, consistently, powerfully. So go, live these laws. Build your inner citadel. And when the next storm comes, you'll not only survive it, you'll stand through it with grace.